I just hit record. So let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my little interview series where I bring a bunch of people from the nerdcore community, rappers, producers, etc. Bring them in to be interviewed so that we can get to know each other better, kind of help promote their music, their friends, help the community grow. Today we have a guest from the from the Otaku Gang, Mark Cooper.
Hey, yeah, how are you?
All right. So I only recently heard of through Schwabity's live stream a few weeks ago, and since then I've been giving your music quite to listen to. I think it's really good.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That whole album, the Test Drive, I believe it's called.
Yep, test drive.
Yeah, it's really good. Y'all should stream it on Spotify, by the way.
Yep, everywhere you want to go. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever you feel.
Exactly. And anyways, before we get to talking about that, let's talk more about you. Who is Mark Cooper?
Okay, well, the best way I can explain is, like I said, I'm Mark Cooper from Detroit, Michigan. Nerd artist for a while. I'm also a producer as well. So Test Drive, I did produce, I think 95% all the beats on the particular thing, including the interludes and things of that nature. Been making music since I was probably 17, 18. I'm 33 now, so I've been doing it for a long time. And just love playing video games, love nostalgia, and that's the stuff I rap about. You can see it's a Blockbuster shirt in here, so I'm definitely come of age, so you can see, where my age limits are.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Blockbuster. I grew up right as it was starting to go away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, R.I.P. Blockbuster. Good old days.
Exactly.
So, now that we've got introductions out the way, let's talk. I guess let's go right into talking about Test Drive.
Okay.
So what, like, explain more or less what Test Drive is about, because through my listening of it, it sounds like a little narrative story.
Yeah, which it is. There's actually part 3 of the series. To begin to understand exactly what's going on in Test Drive, you have to listen to I Am Player 1 and the Allspark first. So it's been 3 years coming. Player 1 came out 2017. Allspark came out 2019. And then you get into this right here. So Test Drive is really about the next narrative of the story where I travel into a particular place where I'm supposed to rescue a bunch of nerds, things like that. Just something like a heroic type of situation without giving up, the actual narrative of the story. It is 80s based, 80s themed, so there's like a lot of synthwave in there. There's a lot of 80s type of synths and narratives and things like that. Some nostalgia here and there in it, and it's just a overall fun experience. So that's what I did with it.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed listening to that. It's a more sort of, I guess, refreshing feel than a lot of other stuff you see on YouTube, especially with the more anime rap side of nerdcore.
Right.
I like first couple songs I was thinking of the movie Kung Fury, if you've
Yep.
seen that. And
because that's what I'm inspired by. Actually, the song Action is a sample from Kung Fury.
nice. That's mind blowing to know.
Yeah. Yeah, and getting it from Mitch Murder and all that stuff. That's just really cool.
All right. So, tell us more about the Otaku Gang, because I know you're a part of that with Grayson, uh,
Uh,
Shara,
well,
etc.
well, Shar and all of them are not part of that. They're
Oh,
just
you
kind
know,
of affiliates and things like that.
yeah,
But
affiliate.
like Grayson, AO Lyrical, Creative Mindframe, Kadesh Flow, um, Elder Master, the Okumura. I don't want to mess up their name. They'll probably get mad if I mess it. Richie Branson. There's a lot of different. Epitome is one. There's a lot of different ones that just get together and they just make a lot of really dope nerd content. So it's just one of those kind of collectives that we just kind of, do what we do, Taku way, and we just call it a day.
All right. What? So this I'm not too sure about. Did you sort of join the group, or like were you part of the founding of the group?
Well, I joined. I got invited and I joined.
All right.
Yeah.
How'd that come about? Like who were sort of the original founding members, so we all know.
Well, for the originals is normally Richie Branson, Kadesh Flow, and those guys.
Yeah.
And then actually Grayson's the one that reached out. So when he found me and saw the certain things I was doing, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you should join the collective. It's a great community, blah blah blah, things like that." And then it worked out like that.
Yeah. So I guess shout out to Grayson for helping set you up with that.
Yep, which is pretty cool.
All right. So some more personal stuff. Uh, Seeing as you're sort of a big part in the nerdcore community. Um, you've
See, I guess,
yeah,
yeah, I would presume so. Yeah.
yeah, you kind of sort of at the very least. Like I know some people like they make stuff that is classified as nerdcore, but they don't associate with nerdcore. If that makes sense.
Nope, they just say nerd stuff, and then they're just saying, "No, I'm not that at all. I'm just gonna mention all these references real quick in the song. No big deal." Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Um. So, uh, that all being said, I assume that you've got a background in nerd culture, uh, like with various different hobbies, interests. So,
Exactly.
I'd like to talk more about that. What sort of stuff uh, do you, what sort of interests and hobbies do you have that uh, translates into some of the music that you make? Like,
Well, well, to be honest, one of the hobbies I do have is I do know how to build game consoles and fix those. So there's that. Another thing is I am into computers and things like that, fixing those, doing handiwork in that nature. And I'm a nostalgic rapper, so I'm the one that's doing Power Ranger raps and Ninja Turtles and '90s stuff. And I also make beat tapes cater to that. Like have a beat tape series called Saturday Morning Cartoons, like cartoons, but
ha,
I basically make beats out of those, and I'm like on my fourth volume, and I've been doing it since 2015. So there's a lot of different influences when it comes to that, like DBZ to the Naruto stuff, and then I'm just kind of the thing is that I'm in the anime rap, but I don't do it enough just because it's just not something I really want to do all the time
yeah, and
because
that's
I
fair.
because there's a lot of geek culture we could talk about. Like I just did a track with Nim Raps about He-Man.
Yeah, like there's a there's a lot of stuff that sort of uh, fits into geek culture. Um, Hell, there's people doing raps about math and geography and stuff.
Yep.
Uh, I can't remember exact specifics, but I just heard the other day some sort of math rap, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah, and that's the thing about what makes it cool about geek culture. It's really crazy is that so many people harp on what's popular that they're worried about if they do something that's not popular, they're not going to get the views that they want. Sometimes you might just gain a fan base just by doing the raps that you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's the particular path I follow anyway. You know what I mean? I do the particular nerd raps I want to do. If I do feel like doing a Seven Deadly Sins rap, I'll end up doing it. But if I end up doing a Ronin Warriors rap, I'll do that. If it's, if they want me to, we're doing a Naruto Kage cipher, cool. But I'll do an Inspector Gadget one the next day. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of what, what fits and what I feel like really doing.
And it definitely seems to be working for you so far.
Yeah, do what we can.
Yeah.
Definitely do what we can. Oh yeah.
Suddenly lost my train of thought. Words. That's a good song. Anyways. God damn, I keep losing my train of thought right when I'm about to say something. This is going
cool.
very...
Go ahead, take your time, you're good.
Oh yeah. So what sort of got you started with music? I know some people just grew up listening to one person or another. Some people got into doing stuff in like middle school with band and etc. etc. How'd that come about with you?
Well, honestly, I was just a senior in high school. I've always been a fan of music when it came to hip hop. Always been that, especially for being in Detroit. So, to be honest, I just really got into, trying to rap at home, and got one of those PS2 USB microphones that came with video games back then. Plugged it in. My cousin had a copy of Cubase LE, the limited edition. Didn't really know I was doing, and I just started recording from there. And then, after that, just kind of started to progress and knew I was getting ready to take it serious. So I was making beats after that. So I couldn't figure out ways to make beats, not make beats. I couldn't find any ways to figure out exactly how to purchase them back then. I was really skeptical of SoundClick and things like that and putting money into it, and I just didn't do it. So I just said, forget it, and then just started making beats, and and that's where I am today, combining over time.
All right, cool. Like the fact you used a PS2 microphone, like who else can really say that? Like
Not a lot of people.
Like that.
So that's when I say, I understand people are saying, about quality and things like that. I came from the very, very beginnings. I didn't even have, a condenser microphone. I had a microphone that I went to the store and put one of those styrofoam things over the mic, and that's how I really started recording.
Yeah, I'm using this cheap microphone that someone on YouTube suggested for like $40.
See, that's the thing that's crazy though. Like, I didn't even have YouTube then, so I didn't know what was good.
Yeah.
YouTube didn't come till 2006. I started in 2004. So it was just a matter of, figuring out what you can get. I didn't know what interfaces or any of that stuff was then. It was just a matter of trying to figure out, plug it in USB and hope it connects to the computer. Mm-hmm.
So you've been at this for a while now.
Yeah, I've done like all the other raps and things like that. But like back in 2009, I did do a little bit of nerd rap. That was back when I was playing for Halo 3, playing competitive. And I made a song, ironically. This is when I met like JT Music or JT Machinima or Skull Country 13. That's why I know him as. I knew him back then. So like a lot of people, like the Daddy Fat Snaps and like a lot of the ones that are like really great now. I kind of seen them and knew where they were when they very first started. So I just didn't have a video person.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about YouTube. You got to have like a video editor person. It was just really hard to get that back then.
Man.
So, yeah. So it's really cool.
And like now with the platform, there's video editors left and right, just available at the drop of a hat, basically.
Right? which is definitely a great blessing and a great, step in the right platform when it comes to visual in my career.
Right. Wait, so you used to play competitive Halo?
Yeah, I played competitive in Halo 3.
Alright, that's pretty cool. Have you ever gotten anywhere with that at all?
Top 68 in game battles.
Sweet, man. Like, I've played Halo myself, and I don't even have the skills to, like, last 5 minutes casually.
Oh no, man! It's all about having fun with it. But when you get to that point when you play and you really into it, that's when you get the most competitive. So, and I still play from time to time. I'm nowhere near to where I used to be, but it's definitely fun to play. So, if anybody did see the interview and want to play, they can hit me up and maybe we can get in some couple games or something.
Alright, y'all heard him here. Hit him up if you want to play Halo.
Master Chief Collection. I don't know about 5. I can play 5, but I'd rather play MCC. Please.
Alright, so one thing I do kind of want to talk about. We've talked about more or less where you came from to where you are now, but do you have anything sort of in the works that you might be excited to talk about by chance?
Well,
Any sort
the
of
thing
plans?
is with me, I do have a couple things that's already setting up and getting ready for, and I'm just kind of putting it together. One thing is the new beat tape that comes out this year. I've released one instrumental tape per month. So for September, it's going to be the first time where I release one on streaming platforms, which is going to be called the Lo-Fi Library. So it's going to be instrumentals. It's like lo-fi, chill and relax kind of thing, but it's all my beats and production on that one. That'll be out September 10th. Been working on little small indie projects that I'll release, let people know when they come out. They're kind of surprised right now. So it's just looking forward to things like that. You know what I mean? Can't wait to see what other segment. Can't wait to see whatever collabs I'll be able to do. It's going to be fun, man. That's what it's about.
Sounds like it. But I actually can't wait to hear more of your stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you can check it out everywhere. You can check it out on itsmarkcooper.com, which is my website. And all my streaming platforms is all It's Mark Cooper. So you can check out all the stuff. And Spotify, of course, my name would be, Mark Cooper when you look me up. But you'll be able to find all that stuff by then.
Yeah. I'll definitely ask you for a list of links just to copy paste into the description of this video once we're done. Because, like you said, you're everywhere.
Yeah, I try to be. Sometimes being everywhere is exhausting.
And so, going back talking more about YouTube. Trying to remember what I was about to say. So I know a lot of people have like put their main content, like songs and stuff. If they make nerdcore music, they put their main stuff on YouTube, and then they have side projects that isn't necessarily related to music, but they still upload it to like a second channel separate from their music. Is that any sort of thing that you do?
No, chance? It's not actually. For the YouTube, I just usually post my music content and things like that. Personally, just for a person that's like a marketing person or things like that. If I put up content and things like that, I kind of want to make it relatable to the brand. So if I steer away and let's say it's not music like rap or something, I would probably 9 times out of 10 maybe put my beat tapes up there, instrumental things like that, because I don't want to confuse my audience.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I don't do that, because then, so let's say that the second channel is like 8 times more popular than the music channel that you were trying to do in the first place. So now you're trying to, wait, bring them over here. Don't bring them over there. You know what I mean? And sometimes it could be very, mind constraints. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's good to just stick to one channel, things like that, and then just build your brand like that. You know what I mean? Like I like the way Nim Raps did it. Like they do other channels and things like that, but he always sticks to the one particular thing when he does his try not to laugh videos and things of that nature, and then brings in the nerd out stuff on a different platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually totally get it. I know there's a few people in the community that started second channels for their side projects, and have found their whole audience sort of growing more on those channels than they were um, on their main channels, and so I can definitely see how that can be a little stressful to sort of maintain at least some sort of balance.
Yeah. It's always good to, you can always balance and things of that nature. But what I'm saying is it's like, focus on one thing at a time. And then when you feel like you gotten what you need or you're satisfied where you are, then you can start other side projects. I've just seen people make multiple accounts and then try to do multiple types of videos at the same time and try to, send it to the audience. It can be very confusing, you know? Some people may be a fan of you for comedy. Some might be a fan of you because they love your music. You just got to figure out a way to combine both. And that's how I feel about that. But I do understand the concept of splitting up your channel too if you're doing something completely different than what you normally do. I just try to combine my brand together.
Yeah. Uh, on the topic of brands, another common thing within the community is a lot of people go through like shifts in like their name or branding or whatever. Uh, I know previously, in my Connor Quest interview, he was talking about how he went through several different names before uh, staying as Connor Quest. Have you had any sort of journey where you started as one thing and now you're Mark
Oh
Cooper?
yeah. Yep. I started off as Rain and I was like that for a good about 5 or 7 years or so. And then I thought about it and realized that, it makes more sense to brand as yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of people say my name the way they do, like Mark Cooper. And then that's how a lot of people greet me and talk to me in Detroit and things like that. They say the full name. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with, bless what my family gave me and literally start off with as Mark Cooper. But when I go into the nerdcore realm in the album, I'm as player one because I am my own player one, just like everybody else is their own player one.
Yeah.
So I took that aspect just being, always be Mark Cooper because that's what I was born with and that's what I'm gonna die with. You know what I mean? So branding yourself as yourself is probably the best choice you could think of.
Yeah, that's definitely more or less just straight to the point. This is who I am. This is the stuff I make. And the stuff I make is basically who I am, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're more or less a lot of what I'm getting from you is you're just genuine, upfront. I am Mark Cooper, and
Yeah.
this is my
That's what it is.
yeah.
Exactly.
So backtracking a little bit because we
Good.
talked a little bit about how you got in with Otaku Gang. Uh, I'd like to I'd like to talk more about how you got in with Grayson, because I know for some people they just like one particular person's just been a friend for a while, and then for some people it's like, hey, I like your music, we should do this. Uh, so for you, how things started up with Grayson that led to you getting in with Otaku Gang?
Well, personally, I was just looking on Instagram one day, and I saw somebody that his name was Nightwing back then, and saw somebody that was, making particular nerd stuff, nerd things and things like that. So checked him out. I was like, hey, you're pretty dope, and he also knew a couple of friends of mine that I knew. So long story short, we hit it off. Ended up actually being friends, things like that. Performed at BlurredCon and MagWest with him. Also Liberty City Anime Con where we were doing those particulars. It were just two like-minded people trying to get to the next level. Knew all the individuals from Rand to Lars from a lot of the OGs of nerdcore. Like
Yeah,
not necessarily the YouTube side, but the other side.
yeah,
And
it
yeah.
yeah, it's actually
Mhm.
one thing that I like seeing more and more is people acknowledging the other side, because the YouTube side's just been growing a lot, and there's not a lot of like the sort of side that you're more in tune with out on that platform, which uh, it's slowly changing, at least from my observation. But even still, I like seeing the attention kind of shifts to you, Richie, everyone else.
Yeah, I'm on that particular side. Like when it comes to that, like the MC Chris's, the Larses, the Fernalas, the Schaefer, the Dark Lords, the Kadesh Flows, the Richie Bransons, the Mega Rands. You know, Jesse Dangerly, Word Burglar, Dual Core. There's so many of them. What I mean, that's what I'm usually on the side with. So normally I would tour, comic conventions. I would perform at those, like Mag West and MagFest, UmaCon in Detroit, and things of that nature. So I always was moving on that side. But when it comes to the YouTube side, I really, didn't actually focus on that super heavy. You know what I mean? And now I just wanted to, see what kind of different audience that we get from that. But
Yeah,
we were always moving. It's just a matter of, could we sit down and be able to come out with the consistent YouTube content, and then that's where the visual part comes in, and you get what I mean?
yeah, I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you've mentioned just performing and touring different cons. Uh, so why not tell me what's that like?
Well, it's an overwhelming it's an overwhelming experience actually. Being able to go into a convention where you would normally go in and you just have your badge and then you go into the dealer's room or the merch room or whatever, go to a couple of panels, meet a couple of heroes, and then you just maybe go to a rave or cosplay, things like that. And it's definitely a really fun experience from that. But on the other hand, when you go there and they're saying, "Hey, you're performing," you're always performing in front of a new crowd, man. And what makes it great is that you're performing content that people are familiar with you doing. It's not like I have to, literally going on a show somewhere different. I'm doing nerdcore music, and then everybody else is doing a lot of the popular stuff about the cars, clothes, and girls, sex, drugs, things like that.
Yeah,
And sometimes it can be tough to fit. And I'm from Detroit, so you know what I mean. That could be a very really tough niche to be able to perform in. But I make up for that being able to rap. So it's like one of those kind of things where you just gotta be like, all right, I get it. But touring Comic Cons is just a great experience because then somebody could be like, yo, I understand what you said here. Oh, I feel this. I like this. And then you actually gain fans that be like, wow, there actually are artists out there that rap like this, but in the tone I'm familiar with or I enjoy. And also, I get a lot of people that look at me and they be like, wow, you don't swear at all in your lyrics. Like, your music can be for all ages. And there are people who are my age, they're parents. So, when they're nerdy parents, they want to, embrace the Mario and embrace Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, whatever with their kids because they feel like they finally get that chance to do that. Just like what our parents try to embrace with us.
yeah,
And that's certain things, excite people. It's really dope when you get like a 7-year old that you find out's a fan of yours. And it'd be like, wow, you got the real power glove? Like, man, that's cool, or whatever. And people really enjoy that. And I enjoy that feeling of being able to inspire somebody younger or anything like that to let them know that, it's okay to be a nerd. It's okay to be weird. It's okay to, you know, be yourself. And that's what I like to embrace in music. I don't want to be that person that's like, yeah, I'm just like Homer Simpson with all the gold laughing at people because I got a bunch of money. It's not really about that. It's just making the music that you enjoy. And the more you learn that and you enjoy it and it's fun, the sky's the limit. And that's why I believe it.
Yeah, like you definitely sound very passionate about this just by the way that you're talking about the music and the lifestyle and everything, uh, which I definitely really admire. Um,
Thank you.
and uh, I a lot of what you are just talking about is something I've seen rub off on the sort of younger generation because I've been hearing of like little waves of like preteen artists trying to make nerdcore songs because they hear artists like you, Richie, Rustage, uh, DPS, all of you, and they and it's either like them or their parents listening to y'all, and it really inspires like that whole crowd, and like seeing it grow from there is it definitely sort of, I guess, touches your heart almost.
Yeah, because nowadays, like, and I'm just speaking, just to be sometimes honest, like not sometimes honest. I don't mean that. To be honest, um, I'm just glad that the urban community is accepted and and literally feels more welcome by it. You get what I mean? Because a lot of us like, keep this tough shell persona when it comes to us being a nerd. Like we try
Yeah,
to just keep that, excuse me, we try to keep that behind closed doors. Well, our friends don't really know about it. If they do, it's just, secret. Like going over your friend's house, like almost just to pull out your Yu-Gi-Oh deck so you guys can play Yu-Gi-Oh in the living room for your
yeah,
parents at home type, type nerd though.
yeah. It,
And yeah, right. And what I like is that there's more of us doing it. And it made it so it's like an even playing field. Like there's a lot of different types of styles and types of rap and things like that. And it inspires individuals. Like I'm gonna be honest, there are individuals who didn't live in like a bad poverty situation, like where there's no parent involved or dangerous things and environments and things of that nature. Some of us are just regular nerds that had both parents, and we would just enjoy what our fandoms are. And more people need to see that there are artists like that. Every artist does not have to have a terrible backstory. Not every artist is a Sasuke. You feel what I'm saying? It's not
yeah,
like everybody has some kind of like weird story or hard life before they came into this. So that's what I like about nerddom. Even though we all have our own stuff, but rapping about it all the time doesn't, what I mean? It's something has to give. And that's what makes, nerdcore interesting because it gives different rappers a chance to rap about what they want to rap about.
yeah, and uh, sort of piggybacking on like the first half of that, seeing uh, where back in the day, um, like nerd culture was still sort of kind of uh, closed doors. You don't want to bring that around like the popular kids, none of that.
Yeah.
To now where a lot of this is definitely becoming more and more mainstream over time. More people are into gaming, more people are into anime. Uh, etc., etc. There's even been like little waves of people getting into more retro stuff, uh, which is also just mind blowing, and I can definitely see where uh, I can definitely see what you mean when you talk about how you like how things are going now versus back when, uh, like you said, behind closed doors over at your friend's house just to play a game.
Yep. Or going over on Sunday in the basement, you playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends, and continuing things like that. It's just see, like nerddom has became somewhat cool because of it. So of course, there's other nerds who be like, "Oh, okay, it's cool now, but you was making fun of me about this 10, 15 years ago." I was like, "Yeah, that may be true, but it is what it is. You gotta get with the times and
Yeah.
have at it."
All right. So, we're sort of nearing the end of this. I tend to run anywhere between 40 to 50 minutes with these. But
Okay.
there's a couple more things I'd like to talk about. So, um, one of the main purposes of this whole interview series that I'm doing is not just to talk about like individual artists during these interviews, but get input from them on other people in the community that uh, definitely deserve definitely deserve some sort of spotlight and attention, especially those who are struggling and growing. So,
Okay.
is there anyone like up to 3 people that you believe needs more attention that you'd like to shout out?
People that need more attention. Uh, hmm. So we talking the YouTube side, or we talking about
I'm just
the
talking
other
about in
side?
general.
Hmm. Who can I think of, man? Who needs more stuff? Well, I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna go with the newer kids because it's cool to be able to, boost to certain individuals and all that. But yeah, I picked this and I picked that, and not. I'm gonna pick some. I'm gonna pick some newer cats and some people to really watch out for. Um, One person's named Crimson Alchemist. It's a female MC. She also does nerd type music and things like that. Um, she's definitely fire. She's got a project. It's called For Her that's out right now, and it was based. The whole story was based off of Legend of Korra, so it was an Avatar based, field storyline with that. And she's definitely dope. I would check her out. Another guy is that he actually raps as well, but he does a lot of people's videos nowadays. Afro Legacy. You definitely want to peep the kid. The
Yeah,
kid is dope.
I've been watching Afro. He's definitely making leaps and bounds every day.
Yeah, the kid works hard. He's got a good heart, man. So I definitely would say him for sure. But there's a lot of them, like Nightbreaker, Britain Boy, Rap Night, of course, All Time Arcade, Carter Sauce. Like those are all Rebel. All those guys are like they're all on the come up for the next gen. You know what I mean? I couldn't necessarily leave it at three with that because those kids are really they're working hard, man. So I'd like to make sure I give them the particular love and respect that they necessarily get for sure. But the last one I probably will say to watch out for, and I mean that with everything, you got to watch out for Diggs to Prophecy. That kid's turnaround time, the way he puts the verses together, the types of records and songs that he want to do, he's gonna be something. And if there's anybody I know that's gonna get more attention than that, is Diggs to Prophecy. You gotta make sure you check him out. Check him out, and then also check out Frivolous Shara. Shara's a problem, and she's from Michigan, so I have to rep that for Michigan. She a problem, and that's the next person I would say as an honorable mention. Those are the people I would recommend personally.
Yeah. Speaking of Shara, um, I've got her. Um, like, I'm going to be interviewing her at some point in, I guess, the next week or so, depending on how things go. And I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, oh yeah, I'm excited. So awesome.
so, to everyone watching, definitely check that out whenever that comes out. Um, check out Mark Cooper and the rest of the Otaku Gang. Uh, Literally, whatever platform you can find music, you can find Mark Cooper.
Yep, it's Mark Cooper everywhere in all streaming platforms.
All right. So one last thing before we go, is
Okay.
there anything you'd like to say to, I guess, sign off and tell everyone goodbye?
Well, I'll talk to all the community of like nerdcore fans and things like that. I'll just leave it with one thing: make the music you want to create, not necessarily what's the biggest thing going on right now. Make nerd music because you love making nerd music. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, you heard it here. Definitely one of the most passionate people I've seen so far when it comes to nerd culture. Um, this has been Mark Cooper, everyone. If you haven't heard us say it a dozen times already. Uh, and that's it for the video. We will see y'all later.
All right, for sure. Peace, guys.
Yeah, definitely hit like and subscribe if you enjoy this. Check Definitely check out Mark Cooper. Everyone he's shouted out: Afro, Shara, uh, everyone, Diggs, and we will see y'all in the next interview. Bye.
Peace.